socks. Socks would be a fun little like, whoop, here's some fun color. Meow, 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 meow. Look at that color. Isn't that pretty? So that is in my bright yellow project bag, because I think green's a very good kind of neutral color. Hi folks, welcome to another knitting update video. So I'm going to be talking about what I've been working on for the month of April. If you're new here, I'm Dawn. This is Tangled Together, where I talk about my knitting hobby as well as some of my other hobbies, parenting, life as a, mid-late 30s adult, and how they all get tangled together. I don't have any finished objects to share this month. It was just a month I had a number of big projects already on my needles, and I did cast on, actually I think like 3 different other projects. 2 of them I have frogged, 1 of them I'm continuing, and we'll get more to that in a moment. So let's just jump straight into the works in progresses. So the first work in progress I want to share is progress on my cat knit pullover. So as you can see, I think last time I had to the bottom of the chest. So now I've got some of the legs worked up a little bit. Pull that out, show that off. Yay! This is working up really nicely. I've actually set it aside for, I think like 2-3 weeks now. I've picked it up, like I was working on it at the beginning of the month. And made quite a bit of progress, I think, actually. And then just the color work, and the small needles, was just getting a little hard on my hands, so I kind of needed a break from it. But I have been picking it up and doing like a row or 2 here or there. I might try and just to keep making progress on this, I might try and set myself a goal of doing like 2 nights a week where I knit at least 2 rounds on this. And I think if I do that, if my eyes are watery, it's because I just was coughing. But I think if I do that, then I might actually get through the color work in the next month, which would be great because then it would just be stockinette for the rest of the sweater and just regular stockinette, no color work. And I think that's definitely something that I will make faster progress on because I'm just not worry about this color work, not worry about following a chart, and just have a very like mindless knit. Obviously check in, make sure I don't knit it too long or forget any of the rest of the pattern. So yes, very happy with the progress on this. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow, meow. So my next work in progress is my Ava cardigan. I finished a Ava Junior cardigan for my daughter last month and really enjoyed the pattern and wanted a just kind of classic everyday cardigan. So I started and cast on actually the day before I went to the Dogwood Fiber Festival. If you haven't seen my video on our little fiber trail trip, you can go check it out. I'll put a little card to it up here. So I did work on this in the car, and since then I have done the bow shoulders, the back, and joined in the round, and there you can kind of see some progress. So yeah, there's the hole for the sleeve here. I'll hold it this way, and I've gotten about that far. This has been an excellent, just like at this point it's a like just stockinette until I reach a certain length. So I've been able to just kind of be working on this while I'm hanging out with knitting friends or watching TV. Sometimes even I've done like a row or 2 in the morning, like drinking my coffee, watching my kid play, because it's very easy to just like stop and put it down whenever and pick it back up, and I don't really have to pay any attention. I'm also really enjoying the fiber of this. This is Knit Picks Woolen Cotton in Cedar Heather. I think it's a really nice, I went with the woolen cotton because I wanted kind of a like all seasons cardigan and figured the wool cotton blend made it so kind of has the best of both. It's a little bit cooler because of the cotton, but the wool gives it some warmth as well as some elasticity, and it's just been so incredibly comfortable. It's got that very smooth softness from the cotton, but the wool gives it a little bit more flexibility, so it's not hard on my hands when I'm knitting. Let me show you a close-up of kind of the fabric and the color. Yeah, I really like the color of this. I think it's a good kind of year-round green. It doesn't read like too Christmassy winter green to me. It's not, oh, it's a pale pastel, so it's like a spring summer. I think it's something that will go very well with a lot of things in my wardrobe. I can layer it. I can over just about anything, because I think green's a very good kind of neutral color. So yes, I'm very happy with this, pleased with the progress that I'm making, and I don't anticipate I'm going to finish this in the next month. I'm at the end of my 3rd ball, and I think I ordered 7 balls, so I might be playing a little bit of yarn chicken. I'm a little nervous about that. I'll see once I get to the end of the body and then start working on the sleeve how much I have left. But yes, might be playing a little yarn chicken. I thought I had ordered enough, but so yes, that is in my bright yellow project bag. And then I also, in my kind of, this is the project bag that I bring with me kind of wherever. It's with me a lot at the playground. I even took it to the beach because I can like do this and have my yarn in here and be knitting. So the project currently in this bag is the Lily Dahlia pattern, which I am making the dress version of it, and I'm making it in chroma fingering. There we go. So you can see I've just partway through the yoke, and when it's stretched out, this lace will be really pretty. And then once you're done with the lace at the yoke, it's just stockinette. I like that the pattern is a shirt, a cardigan, long like sweater, as well as a dress. So very flexible. I'm going to do it as a short sleeve dress because I think that's going to get the most use for my daughter, especially moving into warmer months. She is very much in her dress era, in her I want to be a princess and also play with dinosaurs and cars. So yes, this was a little bit of an impulse cast on. I wasn't quite ready to do the full lacy dress that I'm planning on using some other yarn for, but I wanted something that I could bring with me, and I had this chroma in my stash. I had originally had it set aside for a color work project, but I don't know, I just had second thoughts on that color work project. So I was looking at it and went, ooh, that would actually make a really cool dress in this pattern. So I just cast it on, a little impulse knit. It's been great to have. I took it to the beach this past weekend. I've had it on at the playgrounds. And I will say the lace chart is simple enough because it's just the same X many stitches and just repeat all the way around. So it's been, once I kind of do one section of it, I don't have to pay as much attention, and especially as I'm getting to the end of it, it seems it's pretty logical. So yes, this has been really fun. I'll be interested to see how this yarn holds up. So it's a single ply, so it's a little splitty. I think it would actually work really, really well held double with something or for color work, what I was originally planning. And I'm going to be interested to see how well it holds up. It is a sock yarn, so I'm hoping that helps make it a little bit more durable. And it has this nice, like, slight halo to it as well. Okay, let's talk about acquisitions. All of my acquisitions this month were on the Dogwood Fiber Trail. I showed off all of them before, but I'll run through them very quickly again here. And there's actually an additional acquisition that wasn't in that video because I went to Baba Sheep after filming my, and posting my Dogwood Fiber Trail video. So from Village Knittery, I got the Sesinum yarn. This is a sock weight yarn in this very pretty pastels. Gonna make some kind of sock with it. I'm not really sure on the pattern quite yet. Might just do like a vanilla sock or maybe a ribbed sock. If you have a good vanilla sock or ribbed sock pattern, let me know down in the comments. I don't have one yet. I haven't made just a vanilla sock. I've always followed a pattern and have usually done like a textured sock. So that would actually be a really good thing to do and then have like in my knitting repertoire. I also got this yarn. I'll throw the name of it up here because I don't want to pull the tag out from the center. I got this originally planning on making some hand warmers for myself, but after winding it up, it looked gorgeous in the hank. After winding it up, and then I started working on some hand warmers. You can see here. I'm not loving how the variegation is working. I think it might just be a little too busy for me for hand warmers. And the patterns I found for hand warmers, I think would look much better in a solid or maybe even a slight tonal yarn. This has too much color variation. I'm gonna frog this. I've barely started. This is like, 30 minutes of work. And I think I'm just gonna do some socks out of this. I'm thinking of doing the trailhead socks. I've got the book that has them in it, and they look like a good, like squishy, slight textured kind of ribbed-esque sock. And I think would look good in this yarn. I think I'm discovering that I love the look of hand-dyed yarns in the hanks. I don't think I'm as much of a hand-dyed yarn person for my knits, unless it's like a tonal hand-dyed or maybe a speckle. I have done a couple things with speckles in it that I really like. So yes, I think it's one of those like, they look gorgeous in hanks, but the actual knitted fabric, they're too busy for me. And maybe I need to do more stockinette patterns or hold it double so there's a like solid color, and so it tones back the variegation a little bit. But yes, this is just a little too busy for me for hand warmers. But I think socks would be a fun little like, whoop, here's some fun color. I did pick up some non-yarn, including a ball minder that you can strap to your wrist or set on a table and it spins. I also got a little doodle deck and a thing that I've attached to my project bag that has the instructions on how to make one right and make one left, because that is something that I constantly have to look up. I got some yarn from hand-dyed yarn, Terrapin yarn. I picked this up at Dances with Wool, and this is the Harbor Fingering in Bramble. It is 70% organic cotton, 30% linen, and my plan is to make a Stromboli shirt in this. I might not have enough yarn for the whole thing, so I'm going to do the body, and then I might do the sleeves a little bit shorter than the pattern calls for. Yes, or figure out maybe cropping it ever so slightly. That's something I'm going to figure out, I think. Get the pattern, really look at it, and then as I'm knitting it up, it might be a like, how much yarn have I used for most of the body down to like where I would be okay cropping it, and then kind of maybe doing a little bit of yarn math to figure out, do I think I have enough? Am I going to play too much of yarn chicken? But yeah, these are 437 yards. So I think I should have enough. I think I should. And I got 2 of them. All right, and the final acquisition, I picked up at Baba. They had a Kim Dye's Yarn trunk show, and it is this gorgeous Cronut Sport in the colorway Solitude. And this is a superwash merino silk blend. It is a sport weight yarn. And I love this color. I think it's so pretty. Like, look at that color. Isn't that pretty? Doesn't that look pretty? And I've been looking at getting some more yarn to do some summer projects, and this seemed like a really nice blend. It's very soft. The silk, I think, is going to give it a little bit, make it a little bit more like summer appropriate, as well as it just gives this gorgeous sheen to it. Also attached is the Baba sheep stitch marker for the Dogwood Fiber Trail. And this yarn, I'm trying to decide between 3 different projects. One of them hasn't been published yet, so I'm probably going to wait to see for that to be published, because I think it's going to be published in the next month, and figure out from there. But they are the Swayline V-neck, the Aran top, which is just gorgeous, 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 or the Dido by Sari Nordland. The Dido is not out yet, but I like the lace detail. I really like the Swayline V-neck. I love the silhouette of that top. I think it would look really nice on me. Would be a good dress up, dress down type piece. The Aran top, I think, is a much more dressier top. Could wear it with jeans, but I think it just reads a little bit more dressy. And then the Dido just seems like a nice, little bit more flowy, less close to the skin that the other 2 are. So yes, if you have ideas of which of the 3 of those to use this yarn for, let me know. I'd love your opinions. I'm probably going to be asking folks in my local knitting group for their suggestions. I got 3 balls of this, and it is 328 yards. So that's 900 and a half, but 960, 70, something. Yeah, it's over 900 yards. And yes, very pretty color. Very excited to use this. So yes, I kind of talked about with the acquisition some of my future knitting plans. I'm probably going to be casting on the trailhead socks soon. I'd just like to have another sock on the needles, and very much focusing on getting the rest of the works in progresses done. The Ava cardigan and then the Little Dahlia dress. The catnip sweater is kind of a slowly make my progress on. As the weather's been nice, I've found a few more times to kind of knit throughout the day rather than just in the evening after my kids gone to bed and the house is kind of closed down and everything. But having a couple of projects that I can bring with me, whether it's just going into our backyard and sitting and letting her play and watching and engaging with her a little bit, or taking stuff to the playground or the beach. Because yeah, that worked. She's old enough actually now that she'll sit and play in the sand, especially if there are other kids she can kind of play with. And I can just kind of sit and watch and supervise. Whereas last year I definitely would not have, because she was very I will just run off in a moment's notice and not listen if I say hey, you've gone too far. And this past weekend was our first beach adventure, and a couple times she started getting a little bit too far, and I told her hey, come back, and she did. One time she didn't. I had to get up and chase after her, but I will count that as a win. She's still only 3. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any of my future ones, and you can also follow me on Instagram, where I post a lot more of my day-to-day knitting and adventures and whatnot. I'd love to know what's on your needles. What are your spring, summer knitting plans? I might do a roundup of some of my warmer weather knits. I've definitely been pulling some more patterns and put them together into a bundle on Ravelry. So I might do a video on that. If you'd be interested in that, let me know. But otherwise, I will see you on the next podcast episode. All right, bye.